Let's make sure we got some of the audios on here. Let's make sure everything's working. Yep, and we're back to live. Okay, so we got the shocks connected here. All right, we're back to live here. We got the shocks connected. We're going to get granola started for the morning. The whole idea is this is a walk and talk, and this is an getting ideas that are rattling around inside the head, outside the head into a place where they can potentially become useful. I'm going to set this up as a Google Calendar event right now. Let's call this Walk and Talk 817 2026. So hopefully this picks up. Yeah, let's do it now at 4:15 in the morning, and then we can get, so we got this thing recorded, 4:15 to 5:15. We got that thing live. Should show up in our granola calendar. Let's just see, we got granola here. If it doesn't show up, we'll do it as a separate type of event, but it should. Here it is. Start the notes. And granola is kicking off. Okay, so this work is inspired by Mark Levy's book, Accidental Genius, which is using free writing as access to your greatest thoughts. So this is free talking, and the whole idea, I've been doing this for a good, I don't know, at least 15 years at this point in time, getting the ideas that are rattling around in the head out. And then I'm starting to incorporate this with the daily workout routines that we're doing. So I've got a rucksack on right now, so that's carrying a little bit of weight. I'm also, it's raining out today, so getting some steps in this morning before the day actually gets started. So we're going to do a little bit of a wandering around inside of the building here. Might do some laps outside depending on how much rain there's actually is that's coming down right now, but we'll do a little bit of laps around to get some of the ideas out. So main goal is to get most of the work done for the day done as we go through this morning process. And also part of the work is getting a live stream out into the world. And so that's what we got here. We got a live stream that's out into the world. Now, eventually, this is going to turn into live entertaining, hopefully entertaining sessions with other people. It's also going to turn into working sessions for ourselves, live working sessions where we do live working sessions where we have some agents listen in, which will serve the purpose of improving on the content that's actually getting created, will also service on the purpose of getting actual real work done. So if we start going through the flows, I've got a set of morning routines that I do that are physical routines, and then there are connection routines. So simple ones, I just do a good morning message to mom, that gets put out there. So for today, it's 4:15 as I'm recording this in the morning. Um, my dog woke me up and couldn't go back to sleep, so yeah, it's 4:15 as I'm recording this. I sent that note for 6 a.m. I put it on send later on my Apple phone because I didn't want to send a message at 4:15 a.m. Even though she's got her phone off, 6 a.m. is fine enough to say, hey, we're here, we're getting the day started, and here's what we're actually going to do. I got the rucksack on, great, which is great, so I'll get that capture out from the rucking part of the morning. So that will be, those will be one of the routines that's getting complete. I'm starting on my 13,500 steps. I'm going to do at least a daily live stream. So I'd like to add that into my routines add that into the routines inside of Todoist. And also got starting to move forward some of my urgent items. And the one that's urgent right now is my daughter has her annual physical for school. I want her to be able to go to that appointment by herself, and I want to make sure we get the forms in. Also realize that one of the forms for my son, the over-the-counter medication form, has not been completed for him, so that's got to get updated too. So we'll get to some of the completed forms. Also did a great session with him last night on reading and how do we start getting through the book. So he struggles through some of his summer readings and some of the stuff he's interested in, some of the stuff he's not interested in. So how do we make progress on the stuff that he's working on without having it be encompassing the whole day, and starting to teach him the what is that principle? The principle that says that work expands to the amount of time that you give it. I have to think about what it is, but yeah. So just wanting to collapse work so we can do a little bit more. He's been doing some football training, which has been a lot of fun as well as we're working in through the days. Now, for me, this is my daughter's doing SAT prep stuff. She's doing that. She went to a course last week on that stuff, and then also we're not using some of as many of the techniques for her stuff. My wife is she's doing a lot of the studying, and I'm not necessarily teaching her or working with her on a lot of the hacking techniques. I just don't know if they work for the SAT, honestly. So another one of the plays is working on photo reading. So yeah, so teaching myself photo reading, but also helping other people in teaching photo reading so we can consume a lot of information in a shorter period of time. So that's another play. Oh, somebody might be coming into the gym. Yep, someone will be coming into the gym. It is 4:20 in the morning. So let's see. Somebody else here? Oh, yeah. So somebody else is, yeah, somebody else might be coming in. Okay, that was just Sal checking out what was actually going on. So now some of the goals are, some of the other things is I start to watch YouTube, or I start to see YouTube videos that are interesting, that are things that I actually want to implement. So we want to get a system in place to be able to track the implementation. I'd also like to get some regular feedback on what's going on with my Apple Health, and where are there areas where we can start to do where we can start to create some improvement in the Apple Health, and then also from a finance perspective, where is there an opportunity to be able to create some saves from or to create some additional revenue from a finance perspective. So I saw one yesterday, like on, hey, setting up a business setting up for the business for the kids, to having them have a business line of credit. And I don't know what's the value of that, right? Is there value in that is there value in that um, for them to have some of have the business line of credit? I'm not quite sure. But it's an interesting perspective, interesting way to be able to start to work, interesting way to be able to start interesting way to be able to start some businesses, and getting all the filings they need to get done and all that fun stuff, to get them learning sort of what the opportunities are that are out there, and who do we follow and whose systems do we follow to start to make some stuff work. I'm thinking right now, for the money perspective, if we should go back to Tony Robbins' Money Masters as a primer, and then I'm curious what other books are sort of widely as accepted as successful ways of being able to manage money, because that book is, I think, over 12 years old at this point in time. We'll see what else is out there as far as the teachings of what are the most sort of extraordinary opportunities around managing money and creating, managing money, and how do we navigate everything that's going on inside of 2026 and the AI world, right? And then how do we get all of our work automated? So I'd like to see, like, what I'd like to have happen on the back end of this. I'd like to have some research come out on the back end of this. And the reality is, what's going to happen right now is we do have this captured in Granola. We've got this captured in, we have this captured in Granola, and then we also have it captured in, on you. That was weird. We got it captured. Oh, that was just the air conditioning. We've got it captured on YouTube. We got it captured in YouTube, and we got it captured in Granola, and we have, so yeah, we'll be able to get the transcripts, we'll be able to get some summaries of everything that we talked about in the background, then we'll just start to break down the daily live stream into, here's some of the objectives that we want to work through and I guess create off of, is probably a good way to put it. Other thing that I wanted to do is a check-in. We have 7 to 8 hours of sleep. I'm not hitting that. I went to sleep at about 11:30 last night. I woke up at, before 4 o'clock in the morning. So that's going to require some additional rest later on today. Hopefully we'll be able to take a nap. I don't even know if it's called a nap, but if we do this session till about 5:15, I'd like to be able to sleep till 7 o'clock. I'm not going to be able to go on a long walk with my dog. I'd like to be at my desk at 8 o'clock in the morning for the work. I've got to, just to have a couple hours to prep for a call that we have at 11 o'clock that could pay huge dividends for everything else that we are working on going forward. And the whole idea is we'd like to get the transcript out for all the get the transcript out for all the pieces of the work, and then how much of the work can actually get captured. Yeah, how much of the work can actually get captured in a um, how much of the work can actually get captured in a walkthrough, as a in a walkthrough and in an overall category conversation around an overall category conversation around uh, anyway, I don't want to get I don't want to go too far down that rabbit hole here. Okay, so the whole idea, so we want to have the data present to us that helps us and serves us in our regular goals. I probably want to take a look at my goals and take a look at the goals and potentially do a monthly review. Do that during a live stream in the morning. I can do it, a monthly review against what some of the primary goals are um, that we are creating off of it. I'm very curious. I'll see inside of the live. I'm very curious if I can record this live message and then also have a conversation with my ChatGPT and my Claude at the same time to surface what some of the key goals are that we're working on, and potentially do the monthly review for the goals as part of that conversation. That would be a cool thing to be able to do. Also, to be able to do a finance review during this work without sharing out too much information about what we're actually, without sharing out too much information about what we're working on and what we're building off of. So I don't know. I'm going to keep this one live like this for right now. The other thing that I'd like to do is improve the thumbnail on each one of these videos. Right now, it's a weird looking thumbnail. Just do a better overlay on each one of the videos so we can see a picture of the face on top of the audio. And then I would like to have this be creating opportunities for people to start to do some dial-in sessions as we're working through some of the details of the stuff that we're creating off of. So I would like to I'd like for it to grab the transcript and formulate. We could have the transcript formulate the daily structure. So here's how my day starts to break down inside of Workflowy, which is typically closest to what's actually top of mind, because it's nested bullets that start to frame what's going out during the day. So that's what's in Workflowy. So I've got a personal, and then I've got a work version of it, okay? So work is not going to get captured out in the public, but we break down into, hey, here's the main objectives that we're starting to work through. And then, here's the big risks. And the whole name of the game is we want to either be doing large initiatives that have big dollars impact. We want to be managing risks, the things that could cause disruption, or we want to be systemizing pieces of work so it's more effortless for human beings to be able to finish the actual work. So that's basically the whole crux of all of the work stuff. And then there's also emotional regulation and just making sure that we're at the right phase where we're not causing we'll call it premature aging because of the stress that goes along with the work, right? So it's maintaining a high emotional position. So overall, like everything, life is occurring like a big playground over the last couple of years or the last couple of weeks, which has been absolutely extraordinary. Went through a very difficult period in June, and wondering if sort of the bounce off of that has been, um, yeah, wondering if the bounce off of that has made it a little bit more, has made it a little bit better. But excited to go through and yeah, excited to go through and create the work. Yeah, create the work that we're being able to do today. I'm wondering what the impact would be. I'd like to be able to. That would be interesting. I'm very curious. I was looking at the I was looking at the what's it called, the Google Pixel Fold yesterday, and I'm wondering, especially if we're doing some of these walks inside, if we could have like that, the Google Pixel Fold, and having that as a another device that we're able to work on to be able to, because I'd like to have potentially an AI component to the stuff that we're doing, where there's some listening in to the YouTube video that's starting to do, yeah, it's starting to do some of the processing of here's the stuff that we've actually, yeah, here's the stuff that we talked about. And I'm sure that is available. It's probably more available on Zoom than it is available on some of the other devices. But I'm very curious, yeah, if we could go, yeah, if, how do you go live inside of Zoom? I'm not sure if I'm paying for Zoom right now or if I'm not paying for Zoom right now. But yeah, how do you go live inside of Zoom for, yeah, going live with the message inside of Zoom, and then having that be a live stream, and then also having the agents in the conversation, or potentially doing that with Google Meet as well, having the agents in the conversation that are listening into the conversation and are starting to create some impacts in some of the other piece of work that we're doing. And I'm thinking if, yeah, I think it'd be more fun if it is conversational, where it's like we go out and talk and do a check-in with the agents, and they come back and say, like, hey, we're going off, and then let them go off and do their other piece of work. So it's literally morning stand-up happens. The morning stand-up happens as we're going through the walking and talking, and I think that's going to be a really extraordinary way to be able to work, because if we get emotional regulation in place, if we're doing the right levels of workouts for our bodies to be able to have the longevity to be able to do this for a long period of time, and we're managing cash flow in a way where we don't necessarily run out of money at any point in time, where we have enough to be able to continue to do this for a long period of time. Theoretically, we can just go on walks and then create and build via our voice for a long, long period of time. And I'd like to have, as I'm doing some of the work here, I'd like to have a physical Kanban board. Now that I'm thinking about it, a physical Kanban board where we start having some post-its, especially if we're doing some of the indoor sessions, where we have the, hey, here's what we're working on. And I've got a blue board that folds out where you can start to put some post-its on it. And I'd like to be able to start to write during some of these sessions to pull out, hey, here's some of the key ideas that we're working on, and here's some of the key ideas that we're working on, and then getting that board laid out so we have a physical presentation, or a physical presentation of what we're actually working on during the session. I'm very curious if there's a standalone monitor actually where we can actually see the board moving as we're starting to talk, right? And if there's if we had a if we had a monitor, then we could actually have a digital version of, hey, here's all the work that's going on, here's who's listening in, here's who's listening into the conversation, and here's what we think should get done with the listener in the conversation, and to see where like, hey, use this. So the whole idea is to have this conversation, and to be inspired to go off and do work, or to be inspired to go off and be more healthy, right? That's the beginning, the middle, and the end of the whole piece of the conversation, to inspire to be healthy in all ways possible and to go off and get ourselves regulated into a way where we can be we can be productive both today and in the yeah be both productive today and in the future. And that's it, right? That's the name of the game, especially if we can get up and have energy for energy for days or energy for weeks, however you want to start to look at it. If we can just keep on maintaining our energy as we're going through these sessions, and then we have the right tools in place to get done with the stuff that we actually want to get done, then we can do this for a long period of time. We can do this for a very long period of time. So I think that's, yep, I think that's fine. I think that is, um, I think that's fine. I think that is, I think that's perfect. I think that is fun. And I think that is fine. I'm thinking I'm probably going to end this live stream and start moving into the processing today's action items based on the work that we're building out here, and then just seeing what's in our routines for today, and then what's in our routines for today, and then where we can start pulling some of the details from our YouTube channel of like, hey, here's what we talked about, and then what changes would we make to Todoist based on what we had inside the conversation. So let's go do it, right? We'll call an end to this piece of the work, and then we take it from here. But I'll keep Granola going live here, and I'm wondering if it can actually, probably can't read this live message with Granola, but let's do a live Todoist session afterwards. All right, so we did our content piece of it. Now I'll do a live Todoist processing session in the morning. We can do our coach check-in with Dan, and then get some of the stuff going. That way. So start hacking through some of the live Todoist stuff. So I think that's fun. All right, we'll call an end to this one.